Today we're going to be doing a lean cut of beef type of fajita stir fry with some peppers and onions and a salad on the side, which is cucumbers, romaine lettuce hearts, and olive oil and vinegar for dressing. Keep it real simple and easy, just like everything else we do here for cooking. It's going to be a real easy recipe. So we're going to take first our London Broil steak, and we're going to add some Montreal steak seasoning to it. And usually I like to leave them a couple hours in the refrigerator marinating before I start cooking it and then slice it when I do this kind of recipe. But today we're just going to do it all in one step pretty much. I have some less sodium soy sauce here. Going to add it to the steak, and we're going to let it, usually we let it simmer in there, sit in there for a couple hours to absorb the soy sauce and the seasoning. So we're going to put that over it, real simple. Toss it a couple of times. And we're going to go from here, take some coconut oil, grease our pan with it, and everything we're doing here is basically lean cuts of meat and things like that for dieting and for contest prep or for burning body fat. All of these recipes are diet recipes with health in mind, of course, but also meant to lose weight. We're going to take about a tablespoon of coconut oil here, and we're going to drop it just to kind of grease the pan, because this cut of meat is very lean. If you take it and you just drop it in the pan, it's not it's going to kind of boil. It's not gonna sear on the outside. So we want to take a little bit of coconut oil and grease our pan to kind of get it hot, and then we're going to drop our steak in there after it's been marinating for a couple hours. Soy sauce and Montreal seasoning is what we're doing this time, but you can do it many different ways. You could add, whatever kind of seasoning you like. You can do Cajun seasoning. You could do a steak blackened and then slice it. But this particular recipe, we're going to use Montreal seasoning and soy sauce. We're going to take it, we're going to cook it about halfway through, 3/4, depending on how you like your meat, but I'm going to cook it almost, halfway through, medium rare, and then I'm going to take it off of there, and I'm going to slice it into strips, and we're going to have peppers and onions here. While that's cooking, we're going to take our peppers and onions, we're going to slice them. I'm going to core the pepper, and we're going to take it and we're going to slice it into strips. I do a 1 whole pepper for a steak that big. The London Broil is about 2 pounds, so you could also use red peppers or yellow peppers to add a little bit of color to it. I just got this because this is cheaper and more affordable. You could do many different variations of this. If you like it a little spicy, you could also add serrano peppers or jalapenos to it also, into the stir fry while you're doing it. So take our onion, gonna peel that outside layer off of it, and once that's peeled off, then you're gonna take it and slice it kind of like the same way that we did the pepper, really thin. The last piece you just cut it like that. So we're going to take all of that, and then once our steak is cooked to medium rare, we're going to take the steak off, we slice it, and then we throw all the peppers and onions in there along with the steak strips. We're going to cook that all the way. Our steak's about cooked on one side, you're going to take it and flip it. Normally I have tongs, but because I'm at work here, I don't have all of my cooking equipment. Let me use a fork here real quick. Flip it over. We cook nice and cooked on one side. Get that coconut oil in there. So we're gonna cook it about to medium rare. While that's cooking there, you can also take your peppers and onions and put them in the container where you marinated your steak there. Let them sit for a little bit. Throw some soy sauce on it too, also to give it a little bit of flavor. So we're gonna take that, and now if I could just find it. Okay, so we're gonna take some soy sauce and throw it on top of our sliced peppers and onions and set them aside while the steak cooks. So that just sits there aside, and then we're gonna take our romaine lettuce. I have to wash these. Okay, so now we're gonna take our romaine lettuce after it's been washed, and we're gonna cut it into about 1-inch pieces. Then we're going to take it, set it aside in a bowl while the steak cooks. And this is going to be our salad. The temperature we want it before slicing it. Now, like I said, I'm in the office, actually our gym here, so I'm kind of limited on cooking supplies, but we improvise, adapt, and overcome. Here we're going to take a cucumber and just cut the ends off of it, because the ends are no good. And what I'll do is usually I'll take it and I'll either peel it like this and then run a fork down the sides, which I'll show you guys in a minute. Makes it a lot more tender. Some of these cucumbers are older and they've been sitting around for a while. I usually like to go to the local farmers market and get organic cucumbers or locally grown, but unfortunately right now it's kind of cold here in Florida, so we don't have fresh cucumbers locally, so it's kind of rough. Have to buy stuff for the local supermarket, and these are kind of tough, really tough skin and tough on the outside, so you gotta kind of improvise to what you're doing here. So I'll take this, and then what I'll do is I'll run this fork down the sides of it, and that makes the cucumber softer, and it allows for the vinegar and the dressing that you put in it to kind of go into the cucumber flesh itself. I usually, for me personally, I like using just regular oil and vinegar with some sea salt, kind of like a vinaigrette homemade type of dressing, because it's the healthiest and also the kind of like the lightest. So I take that and I just chop up cucumbers in little wheels. You can see there that the little wheels have like kind of like little creases in them. There we go. Take that and put that in with our romaine lettuce. Now that our steak is just about ready for slicing, I'm going to take that off. Okay. And with this London Broil, you want to make sure you slice it across the grain so it's not tough. So when you cut it like this, it's not tough. It's, you know, it comes out very tender. Always cut across the grain when you're cutting meat. You can see the way the lines on the meat go. This is the way that it should be sliced. And this is like a medium rare to more like a rare right now. And I'm going to throw it back in with the peppers and onions. And that pepper and onion is going to give it a great flavor. And this meat is going to cook all the way through with that peppers and onions. Kind of like a fajita type of deal. And then I usually put a little bit more soy sauce and stuff in it to finish it cooking off. And this is like almost no carbohydrates in here. Ton of protein. Very lean cut of meat. This top round or London Broil. Great price, usually $4 to $5 a pound. It's very tender. It's not a tough meat. It just doesn't have a lot of fat in it. So it's usually one of the best meats you can eat if you're trying to diet and, you know, and eat lean or low carbohydrate diet. You can do one of these meals or two per week. So basically, that's done slicing like that. I'm gonna take the steak and throw it into our pan like that. And toss it around, make sure it'll spread out, break off any little pieces I might not have cut through with a knife. Put that in there like that. Then I'm gonna take our peppers and onions that we sliced earlier with the soy sauce, and we're gonna drop that in there. Usually I have tongs when I cook at home. I love my chef's tongs to pick up stuff and stuff like that, but this is the best I got here. Just kind of toss that all around there with the soy sauce and the seasoning. And I'll drop a little bit of our chopped garlic. Sometimes I use fresh garlic. I usually prefer fresh garlic, but I'm trying to get this done in a hurry, so kind of use this garlic paste type stuff, which is all natural too. It's 100% natural garlic. I try to usually cook as close to organic or real food as I can, just because I'm really health conscious, not just fitness and bodybuilding conscious. I worry about getting sick later in my immune system and things like cancer and stuff like that. So I try to get foods as natural as I can when I can. Of course, it's more expensive, so sometimes they're not available either. So whenever I can, I do try to be conscious of all of that stuff, not use any chemicals in my food. Watch your label for MSG and things like that. Cancer rates are an all-time high right now, and there's a reason for that. You know, we're eating a lot of chemicals that we don't even know what they are. So basically just toss that around like that. You know, it's pretty much close to done. I'm going to put the lid on it, let it simmer for about 3 minutes like that with a lid on it, and then open it back up so the liquid kind of steams out of it and it cooks through, and then you're pretty much done. Okay, so we're going to take a little bit of olive oil and add it onto our salad here. Basically it's some olive oil that I have for some basil and stuff like that added in it, but you can use regular olive oil. I'm going to add that in there. I'm going to take some of this vinegar and just kind of drizzle a little bit on there. Some sea salt. Use sea salt for everything just because it's a lot healthier than the regular salt. Doesn't have all the chemicals in it. So I take that there. So toss it around, our romaine lettuce or the cucumbers. And I'll get the romaine hearts usually in the bag. They come 3 per bag, and they're, I think, around 2 something. And one of these heads will make a salad for 2 people easily, and then have some left over. So, you know, it's a really, really good price saver. Save some money there. Instead of buying the already pre-mixed salads, they charge you $3 or $4 for it. And it's, all you gotta do is just cut it, you know. So, I'm gonna take that. That's our salad, pretty much. You're going to use your own dressings if you want, depending on, you know, if you're trying to lose weight, obviously you want to use a lighter dressing or seasoning. I don't like fat-free dressings because they have a bunch of chemicals to replace the fat. So usually I never use fat-free dressings for anything, just because I don't think they're healthy. You know, you eat fat-free, but you're eating a bunch of processed chemicals with your food, so it's not good. You lose the weight, but you can end up getting cancer from all the garbage in there. So here's your top round, or your London broil, and you put a little bit of that stuff on top of it. Now if you're not so concerned about the calories or anything like that. You could do this over rice, over white rice, and just put some of that juice over the rice. It's really, really good if you like rice, or you know, have it with a baked potato or whatever. There's a million different ways. You could also take this and wrap it up in a tortilla wrap and add you know, things like salsa and stuff like that to it, if you're not concerned about losing weight or the carbohydrates. But since, you know, we're doing all these meals that we're doing here is for burning, you know, losing body fat and dieting and stuff like that, we're not eating carbohydrates. So